So friends, by the way, I am Dr. Nagasridhar. Next 20-30 minutes, I will be explaining you why you should consider history as an optional. There are many optional subjects, as you know, for civil services, right? Choosing an optional is like choosing a life partner. There are many girls, there are many boys. Yes or no? So marriage is a tough decision. And at least in marriage, you have an option, though we should always expect to be a relationship for 7 lives as per Indian tradition. Bore kodte manage tarvata aina inga tappakapothe. But UPSC lo, if you change optional, it is suicidal. And there cannot be any love at first sights in UPSC. Optional subjects lo, you have to be scientific. Okay. Now, how do you choose an optional? You might be listening to many others who are talking about different optionals. I might be repetitive, but let me tell you, there are 3 important criteria for choosing an optional. You might be a BTech or MBA or BCom, BA, whatever, but what are the top 3 criteria? First of all, what is the relevance of the particular subject? Relevance of the subject to your prelims and mains. GS there is prelims, right? Mains there is again GS. Now if you take any subject that will not give you at least 10 marks in prelims and some marks in mains, it is waste of time. Yes or no? Because syllabus is huge for UPSC, any subject. A day has 24 hours and we are all human beings. How much you can read, there is always a limitation. So, it should be time effective studies. What do you mean by time effective studies? If you read for 1 hour, you should get 100 marks, hypothetically. If you read for 100 hours, you cannot get 1 mark. It should not be like this. Okay? So, how do you decide on a scientific basis? One, if you take a particular subject, in GS preliminary, what are the number of questions you might get from that subject? Point number 1. Relevance in prelims. Similarly, in mains, we have essay plus 4 papers, 5 papers are there, right? So, how many of the questions are from your so-called optional, right? So, this should be the fundamental criteria. For example, if you take Urdu literature, or if you take any other literature for that matter, will there be any single question in the preliminary examination? Right? Now you take Urdu literature, I take history or geography or any other subject. From my optional studies, I can easily cater to the prelims marks. I need not study separately for it. But if you take certain optionals like literature or whatever, that has no relevance for your preliminary as well as mains. To that extent, you have to read in addition to others. Okay? For example, mere famous Urdu poet or Srinathud Manodu anukondi. Fine. If you have special expertise in a particular subject, you can take Telugu literature or whatever. మీరు కౌలు ఫ్యామిలీ అనుకోండి, మీరు పక్కన వేటూరు సుందరరామూర్తి, సిరివెల్ల సీతారామ శాస్త్రి మీ ఫ్యామిలీ వాళ్ళంటే ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ అబ్జెక్షన్. మీరే పెద్ద కవి అయితే నో ప్రాబ్లం, నమస్తే తీసుకోండి. బట్ అదర్వైజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు హెల్ప్ యూ ఇన్ ప్రిలిమ్స్ ఆర్ మెయిన్స్. నౌ యూ సీ, దిస్ ఈజ్ ద ఫండమెంటల్ క్రైటీరియా. ఓవరాల్ GS syllabus vis-a-vis your optional. Now let us talk about history. History prelims questions are 15 to 18. Out of 100 marks in GS 100 questions in GS paper, 18 to last year there are 20 questions before last year. 20% is from history. So if you take history optional, you need not read specially for prelims. Point number 1. Okay? Secondly, in the mains, GS paper 1, this for 250 marks, right? In GS paper 1, we have 3 segments. One is history and culture, the second one is social issues, the third one is geography. Out of this, out of this 250 marks, about 120 to 140 marks are from history. More than half of the syllabus is actually from history. Ancient, medieval culture, also world history is also there in the mains, right? So if you take history optional, you will be clearing a major burden out of your preparation. You need not read specially for this, or you need not read specially for mains. One more point is there. The quality of your preparation, because optional you read at a higher level, that will help you to perform better in the general studies. అంటే మనం ఎక్కువ సబ్జెక్ట్ చదివి తక్కువ రాయగలం, తక్కువ చదివి పెద్ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇన్ డెప్త్ ఆన్సర్ చేయలేం. సో యూ రీడ్ ఫర్ ఆప్షనల్, GS questions will be like sales play for you, whereas others, out of this 15-20 questions, they can attempt only 5 or 6, unless if they are not reading. If they read an average student, they can attempt 5 or 6. If very good student can attempt more, nothing like that. Okay, so history optional will clear or improve your chances of clearing prelims, because 20% is in your hand. Okay, and see, in prelims GS paper, you take care of history, then economy including current economy, right? Political science and polity and IR. All these account for 55 to 60 number of questions. Economy will be around 20-25 questions. History will be say 20. Okay, and polity and constitution will be about 13-14. So almost more than 60% of questions are from this segment. Okay, so my first argument on why one should take history optional is because it will improve your success chances in prelims, chances of success in prelims. Secondly, another very important point, there is a good writer called Bertrand Russell in English literature. He said, marriage is a necessary evil, state is a necessary evil. That is how political scientists say. You know, now government is hopeless because it will ask us to pay taxes. But without government, can the society run? No. Marriage is also boring after some years, responsibilities and all that, you know. But then, it is necessary. We have to raise a family, we need somebody, right? So even though it has some disadvantages for both girls or boys or men and women, we all need to get married. Even though government is boring, sometimes oppressive, we need to have a government. Even though history is boring for you, you need to have it to get a rank in UPS. Okay, some people say, sir, I don't like history. Then you can't get UPS. Because anyway, you have to read for prelims. Without reading history, you can't even clear prelims. Without reading history, you can't do the mains. Now, see the other side of the coin. Anyway, you have to read for GS. 30% more, you get optional. No other optional has this kind of advantage. See, GS, ancient Indian culture is there, medieval is there, world history is there, modern is there, post-independent is there. The same is UP optional syllabus with a higher depth, little more additional topics, about 30-25% additional topics. So anyway, you have to read GS, history for GS, take it as an optional. You can, it's like, you know, hitting 2 birds with 1 shot. As simple as that. Now you take any other literature, for example, ఈ అడ్వాంటేజ్ అంతా మీకు పోతుంది. యూనో, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ అగెన్స్ట్ ఎనీ పర్టికులర్ టాపిక్, లిటరేచర్ ఆర్ టాపిక్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్. సి యాజ్ ఎ టీచర్, యు ఆర్ ఆల్ డిసైడింగ్ నౌ, ఐ వాంట్ టు గివ్ ద బెస్ట్ అడ్వైస్. యూనో, అండ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, యూపీఎస్సీ సక్సెస్ ఇస్ సైంటిఫిక్. మనం ఎంత శాస్త్రీయంగా ఆలోచిస్తే అంత ఈజీగా ర్యాంక్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. రోజుకి 30 గంటలు చదివితే రాదు, 24 గంటలే ఉన్నాయి కదా. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ లైక్ దట్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు బీ సైంటిఫిక్. యూనో, కరెక్ట్గా what you have to read, what is in the examination, what kind of questions are asked, what are the answers to be written. If you manage like this, it will be very, very easy. Then third point is also there. That is structure of mains paper. History has map pointing questions for 50 marks. It is a super benefit, friends, I tell you, because while I teach optional, I will start map pointing from the day 1. If I am teaching about Harappa, I will give you the sites, I will give you the practice or whatever. By that time you complete syllabus, it will be very, very easy. Even if you are a very bad student, you get minimum 40 out of this. Okay, and if you are somewhat little more serious, you can get 45 out of 50. Okay, and if you are damn serious, no surprise, you may get 50 out of 50 like maths in this segment. Okay, so map pointing is an additional advantage where you get maximum at least 45 out of 50. Let us not be too ambitious. 2-3 తప్పులు పెట్టినా మీరు 45 out of 50 or 40 out of 50 is possible. Now you take other options, say for example, public ed or polity. You can even choose that. I am not against it. I am just comparing on the structure of examination. There is no map pointing in public ed. Now you take public ed, I take history. You are a good student, I am a good student. You give your best shot, I give my best shot. Remaining things being equal, for an essay in public administration, for 50 marks, you can get at the most 25 to 30. 30 also not possible, 20 to 25. But I write history, I am also the same student, I get 50 here or 45 here because of map pointing. So that 20-25 marks is an edge for you over others. And history and geography have map pointing, by the way. Okay, this is a very, very big advantage. No other options have this advantage. Okay, this is another point why you should consider history. Point number 1, anyway you have to read it. It is unavoidable for your success. So read a little bit more, you get optional marks also. Second, if you take other subject, even then you have to read the same thing in GS. I take almost 80 hours for GS. You know, but sometimes the depth of optional will definitely help you. GS questions are very tough. Okay, so the depth of optional will help you to answer all GS questions. Third point, structure of the paper. Map pointing is a very, very big advantage. Then fourth point, mains has the same syllabus. Ancient, medieval, Indian culture, modern, post-independent world. History optional has the same syllabus. So 25% more topics are there. In-depth is required, of course. You know, the in-depth understanding is required. Some higher level of study is required. So that is also going to help you. So, fifth point I want to tell you is the misconceptions about history. History ante chala facts untai. We have to remember many dates and years names. This is a wrong perception. Group 2 ki aithe correct, but you are not writing group 2. You are writing UPSC, right? UPSC tends to test your analytical abilities and conceptual understanding. I will just tell you, after the class you see last year, this year preliminary examination, results are out kada monna. Preliminary examination questions lo, the factual questions are only 30% in history. Remaining are all conceptual. They give a para and try to say which is the statement true or false. For example, Gandhiji say piloted his concept of non-violent satyagraha in South Africa. Is it, this statement is true or false? Like that the questions will be there. It's not that when did Gandhiji go to South Africa in 1894. No, this kind of questions are not asked in UPS. So it's not correct to say that facts and names sorry will have to be remembered in history. That is not correct as far as UPSC is concerned. మీరు గ్రూప్ 2 రాస్తున్నారనుకోండి, ఓ రాజు బిరుదులేవారు, ఆయన ఎంతమందిని చేసుకున్నాడు, మధ్యలో ఎంతమందిని వదిలేశాడు, కొత్తగా ఎవరిని పెళ్లి చేసుకున్నాడు, ఇవన్నీ కూడా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. వాట్ ఆర్ హిస్ క్వీన్స్, కాంకుబైన్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్. బట్ ఇన్ హిస్టరీ నో, UPSC is altogether different set. It's a very scientific, very interesting kind of history what you need to study. It's based on conceptual clarity. If you understand concept and that is taught to you properly, you need not even read many times. By heart chese avasaram kuda undadu. You know, for example, if Ashoka is there, why Ashoka converted to Buddhism, once I explain, it's like a story, right? You have a word limit, you just have a particular way of writing. So how do I teach? I give the syllabus to you first, then explain the topic, then tell you how that should be written in the examination. What kind of questions are possible, what are the previous year's papers, and what are the expected. So like that, if you do a 360-degree analysis, history will be very easy to remember and write. Okay, and it is not that it is something which is facts of whatever. కొంతమంది స్కేల్ పట్టుకు తిరుగుతుంటారు ఎప్పుడు ఆప్షనల్ చాయిస్లో. పబ్లిక్ యాడ్ 2 పేజీలు, హిస్టరీ 3 పేజీలు, సోషియాలజీ 1/2 పేజీ, సైకాలజీ అసలు లేదు. లైక్ దిస్ యూ కీప్ మెజరింగ్. దట్ ఈస్ టోటలీ రాంగ్. ఎనీ సబ్జెక్ట్ హ్యాస్ ఇట్స్ ఓన్ వాల్యూ అండ్ వర్త్ అండ్ వే ఆఫ్ ప్రిపేరింగ్. నథింగ్ ఈజ్ స్మాల్ ఇన్ యూపీఎస్సీ సిలబస్. But some people argue, if at all you are seeing the syllabus, history syllabus lo ekku pages undi. That is because how they have mentioned. Instead of saying only Mughals, they give a heading for Mughals. Then they say, Babar, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. Avanni mention cheyapaina you have to study about them. Only thing is that they explain syllabus in a detailed way, which makes it look big. So some other people argue that, sir, history is more syllabus. No. Any subject syllabus is constant. Your day study time is constant. Your effort is constant. So, it's not that history syllabus is something, extraneous to you and you may not be able to do it. Nothing like that. In fact, I also teach online. Online history exclusive batch. I have 97 students. 73 are from North India. Bihar, Delhi or whatever. Because they know the easy of history. Okay. Unfortunately, here now it is better. Optionals have become very competitive between the students or the faculty. So the exact advantages of history is not being highlighted properly. So, but you scientifically think this is definitely going to help. If my son or daughter are writing UPSC, not that I teach history, but if my son or daughter are writing UPSC, I will definitely recommend this basis of selection. 2-3 optionals are like this. History is good. Maximum advantage is from history. Geography also has some advantage. Sociology has little advantage. Geography also has map pointing. So, in the order of merit, you can try to choose any of these subjects. GS batch lo kuda నేను చెప్పేటప్పుడు some people say, sir, history is vast or whatever. Some people are worried for GS. So non-optional students, history is a problem. They have to spend a lot of time. You need not spend the same time. And our methodology is, I will give you complete notes in the form of handouts, some dictations. Why dictations? To preserve the notes. మొత్తం అంతా మీకు ప్రింటింగ్ అవుట్ ఇచ్చానుకోండి, నెక్స్ట్ డే మన అశోక్ నగర్లో వికాసు విశాలు ఈ బుక్ షాప్లో అమ్మేస్తారు. ఇంక మీకు అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏముంది? I was a professor in Central University. I taught in HCU, I taught in Central University of Karnataka, I was in Jawaharlal Nehru University. I have the best content which has to be preserved for my students. So కొన్ని హ్యాండ్అవుట్స్, కొన్ని డిక్టేషన్, Q&A ఫామ్లో కూడా ఇస్తాను, which will make your job very simple. Okay? In studies, you get the best material. I will give the best material for map pointing, where you can get anything about around 45 out of 50. If you work hard, you can get 50 out of 50 also. So we'll have tests like all other optionals. So this is how I argue that history is one optional which you can consider. మీరు అందరూ ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం, ఎవరైనా తెలుగు మీడియంలో ఉన్నారా? అలా ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం? ఓకే. So main point is availability of material, content, clarity and easy to remember. కాస్త మైండ్ శ్రద్ధగా పెట్టి క్లాస్లో వింటే నిద్రపోకుండా, గుర్రాలు కళ్ళు తెరిచి నిద్రపోతాయి తెలుసా మీకు? కొంతమంది క్లాస్లో ఉన్న స్టూడెంట్స్ వాళ్ళు చూస్తున్నారో తెలియదు, నిద్రపోయారో తెలియదు, వింటున్నారో తెలియదు. అలా కాకుండా మీరు కాస్త శ్రద్ధగా ఒకసారి వింటే నా క్లాసెస్, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ బోస్టింగ్, ఐఎమ్ టీచింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ లాస్ట్ 24 years. Okay, it will be very, very interesting and it will help you out. And I am there with you till you get the rank. ఈ 4 నెలలు 4.5 నెలలు కోచింగే కాకుండా I have a friendly relation with my students till they get. I am always accessible on WhatsApp or whatever. So it's a teamwork. I will be with you to ensure that you get 350 plus marks in history. Okay, so you consider seriously and make up your mind. Having said this, మీకు ఏమైనా పర్టికులర్ ఆప్షనల్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంటే అది కూడా ఎక్స్ప్లోర్ చేయండి. బట్ నార్మల్లీ దిస్ ఇస్ ఎ గుడ్ ఆప్షనల్ టు టేక్ అండ్ దిస్ ఈజ్ టెస్టబుల్. మీరు ఒక కాగితం పెన్ను కూర్చొని ఆలోచించినా ఇది రీజనబుల్గా అనిపించాలి మీకు, అవునా కదా? ఇంత ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ప్రిలిమ్స్ మెయిన్స్లో Anyway, you have to read. Why don't you take it? You know, without any emotions. Simply go by scientific approach. Then this is the best option to take. Any doubts? Any questions? I generally take almost 30. Ancient I take more, about 40 hours. Okay. Medieval about 30 hours. Modern is 40. Old is around 15 to 20 hours. Depending. If you ask more questions, classes will get extended. If you all sleep, it will be on 15 hours. It depends on discussion, you know. You should always ask questions, think and ask questions. Then post-independent about 8 to 10 hours. So total 120. This is standard, you know. So one more thing, most of the institutes except one I don't want to name because everything is competitive here. You know, they don't give much importance to history and culture, even in GS. Okay, they complete it in 30, 40 hours or whatever, but it's not going to help. History is a tough thing and syllabus is more for GS. 18, 20 questions, you have to, your preparation should also be in line or in proportion with the number of questions that are asked. ఇప్పుడు పాలిటీ 13-14 వస్తున్నాయి ఆర్ కొన్ని 6-7 వస్తాయి కొన్ని సెగ్మెంట్స్. దానికి మనం 100 రోజులు చదివి హిస్టరీకి 2 రోజులు చదివితే సరిపోదు. You have to manage it like that. And one more thing which is related, generally people think ancient is more important, medieval is not important, modern is important like that. UPSC is not following that. Last 2 years, lot of questions are from medieval India. So nothing can be neglected. We have to give equal focus on all of the things. Of course, in GS prelims, world history is not there. So world history don't do it, for it is there for the mains. అడిగితే మనం అవుట్డేట్ అయిపోతాం. దేర్ నథింగ్ లైక్ అవుట్డేషన్. యూనో సి యూపీఎస్సీ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద లాట్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటీషన్ దే ఆర్ ఫిల్టరింగ్. వన్ టైమ్ దే డోంట్ గివ్ క్వశ్చన్స్, అదర్ టైమ్ దే గివ్. మన టైం బాగుంటుంది అనుకోండి, మీరు మెయిన్స్ రాసినప్పుడు క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయి. సో ద బెస్ట్ థింగ్ ఫర్ యూపీఎస్సీ ఇస్ టు కవర్ సిలబస్. వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడా చెప్పలా వరల్డ్ హిస్టరీ అవుట్డేట్ అయిపోయింది వాళ్ళు ఇవ్వమని. ప్యాటర్న్ ఈజ్ ఫాస్ట్ చేంజింగ్. 1 year ఇస్తారు, ఒకసారి పోస్ట్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ ఇస్తారు, ఇవ్వరు. You know, sometimes they are giving old history, sometimes they are not giving. But that is unpredictable. So, any good teacher or a careful or meticulous student cannot take anything to chance. మీరు 2 questions రాయకపోతే a year gone. If you lose 1 year in UPSC, you lose 2 years of your life. ఎందుకంటే మళ్ళీ ప్రిలిమ్స్, మళ్ళీ మెయిన్స్, మళ్ళీ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. No, I don't recommend any chances going by the layman predictions. Syllabus is there, trend shows there is always a surprise element. ఒకసారి ఇవ్వచ్చు, ఒకసారి ఇవ్వకపోవచ్చు, but we can't help it. See, you read so much for 1 year. You don't miss if you read 5-6 hours more. That is my argument. But if you don't read, the loss can be huge if that questions are asked. So as a teacher, I don't want you to take any chances. I also don't take any chances in covering the syllabus. We'll cover. Anything else? What is your background? Most of you are BTechs. Who are non-BTechs here? ఏం చదివారు మీరు? BSc, MSc. మీరు? BA. What subject? Yeah, so for you definitely history will be a good option, you know, because you have read it, na? So automatically it will be higher level. You? BSc Maths. Meeru? BA, any subject? Okay, that's also good. It helps you to handle GS. Good. What else? Any doubts? So, decide fast, whatever is optional, start early, and don't aim for too many years. Year coaching join అవుతాం, నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్ మళ్ళీ చదువుతాం, నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్ రాస్తాం. పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలు పెట్టుకోకండి. యూనో, నో రోలింగ్ ప్లాన్స్ ఆల్సో. రోల్ అవుతూనే ఉంటుంది మీ ఏజ్ బార్ అయ్యే వరకు. నథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. హ్యావ్ ఏ 1 year కంప్లీట్ స్ట్రిక్ట్ ప్రిపరేషన్ టార్గెట్. assume that you are writing prelims in May, parallelly study, then finish it off. ఎలా ఉండాలంటే ఒకవేళ ఆశించిన ర్యాంక్ రాకపోతే యూ షుడ్ రైట్ వన్ మోర్ ఇయర్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూ వాంట్ IAS, యూ గెట్ IPS. అంత పాజిటివ్గా యూ థింక్ అండ్ ప్లాన్. డోంట్ డ్రాగ్ ఇట్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ ఇట్ వెరీ ఫాస్ట్, very seriously, so that when you retire you can even go up to cabinet secretary. And we don't know in life, at our personal life or family life or our examination system, reservations, many changes can come. Current system you have to plan it. Life lo kuda meer inka andaru chinna pillalu, you should do it as fast as possible. As age is going up, you get lot of tensions. అమ్మాయిలకి అయితే మ్యారేజ్ అని చేస్తామని, అబ్బాయిలకి అయితే మ్యారేజ్ అవ్వలేదని వాళ్ళకి వర్రీ. సో రకరకాల టెన్షన్స్. ఓకే, సో గెట్ ఇట్ ఫాస్ట్, సెటిల్ ఇన్ లైఫ్, ఎంజాయ్. 2 years టార్గెట్ పెట్టుకోండి. 1 year ప్రిపరేషన్, నెక్స్ట్ హోల్ 1 year రైటింగ్, గెటింగ్ ఇట్. ఇఫ్ ఎనీథింగ్ గోస్ రాంగ్, జస్ట్ 1 more year. దట్స్ ఇట్. అంత సీరియస్గా చదివితే ఇట్స్ వెరీ మచ్ పాసిబుల్. యూపీఎస్సీ ఈజ్ ఎ సైంటిఫిక్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ ఫ్రెండ్స్. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ టఫ్. It is the methodology that matters. How are you reading? What are you reading? How to present it in the examination. ఆ టెక్నిక్ తెలిస్తే ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్లో కూడా రావడం చాలా ఈజీ. ఓకే, అండ్ యాజ్ ఎ ఫ్యాకల్టీ ఐ విల్ డూ మై బెస్ట్. దట్స్ ఇట్. Sources, there are 23 books. 23 books from which I teach. So honestly, self-preparation is tough. అంటే కమర్షియల్గా చెప్పట్లా, మీరందరూ కోచింగ్ జాయిన్ అయిపోతారని. జాయిన్ అవ్వకుండా చదివే వాళ్ళు కూడా ఉన్నారు. బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ అఫోర్డ్, ఇట్ హెల్ప్స్. ఎందుకంటే వీ హ్యావ్ బీన్ దేర్ కదా. ఇప్పుడు 23 books ఉన్నాయి. ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ ద జిస్ట్ ఇన్ 1 notes. NCERT plus my notes. These are the only books I suggest if you are joining the coaching. If you don't join the coaching, you can approach me. I will give you the list of books. అవన్నీ చదివేటప్పటికి మీకు 40 ఏళ్ళు వస్తాయి. నాట్ అడ్వైజబుల్. ఎవరైనా చదువుతా అంటే ఐ విల్ రెడీ టు హెల్ప్. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ సెయింగ్ ఐ డోంట్ హెల్ప్, బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈజీ. ఎందుకంటే క్వశ్చన్స్ చదవాలి. ఆ బుక్ అంతా రిలవెంట్ ఉండదు, అందులో ఒక పోర్షనే రిలవెంట్ ఉంటుంది. ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. దేర్ ఇస్ ఎ బుక్ కాల్డ్ కల్చరల్ హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా బై A.L. Basham. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎస్సేస్. ఇంత బుక్ ఉంటుంది, అందులో 2 essays ఉపయోగం, 2 articles. So like that, there are variety of books. There is not a single book which we can tell you. What I suggest is NCERT, old NCERTs and new NCERTs. You read the 2 and the class notes. What we'll give. This is the best thing. Last year topper is from history. All India topper, JNU. Okay. Marks, people are getting 330, 327, 311. My own student, there is Vikram, he is from Karnataka Central University. He did MA there. Then after that he joined me here when I opened the institute. I also have my own institute, I teach here. So he got 337. Okay. So the trend is based on how do you write individually. It's not like if everybody is getting in sociology, you take sociology, you will also be given. No. So my humble request to all of you is there is nothing like trend. It depends on how do you read and write. It's a personal performance, right? But there are cases where people are getting, and especially my students are getting good marks, and I have a very specially prepared notes because of my background teaching in university. I have a doctorate. Okay, I've been teaching for long years, 98 onwards. So definitely I assure you 330 plus marks with ease. అంటే మనం బట్టలు చింపేసి చదవకుండా, సింపుల్గా కష్టపడకుండా, టెన్షన్ పడకుండా నోట్స్ ఇచ్చి మీకు అంటే అరటిపండు ఒలిచి పెట్టడమే కాదు, తినిపించి మంచినీళ్ళు కూడా తాగించేస్తాను. సో ఇట్స్ వెరీ వెరీ ఈజీ. I will conduct lot of tests for you. How do you present? What is the exact point in the question? How do you answer? How do you begin the essay? How do you end it? Everything I will tell you. So it will not be tough, and anything UPSC is not easy. You have to prepare to do hard work. అంటే ఏ లైన్స్లో చేస్తారు హార్డ్ వర్క్ అనేది some guidance will definitely help. Otherwise, it is like groping in the dark. Okay, that's it. Yeah. హిస్టరీ ఎందుకు చదవాలంటే మీకు యూపీఎస్సీలో ర్యాంక్ రావాలి కాబట్టి, పాయింట్ నెంబర్ 1. See, it is as simple as that. If you don't know who is your grandfather, what kind of relevance the society has. Now caste system undi, for example, in India lo. If you want to have correct the social injustice that is done, you need to fall back to history. Otherwise the existing systems look very nice. So to have a correct course of society, we need to study history to understand how the injustice has been done. ఇప్పుడు అంబేద్కర్ ఉన్నారు, అంబేద్కర్ అంత కష్టపడి అన్నీ చదివి, జ్యోతిబా ఫూలే కానీ వీళ్ళందరూ ఎందుకంటే ఈ డౌన్ ట్రాడనికి జస్టిస్ చేయాలి, చట్టసభల్లో కానీ మిగతా చోట్ల కానీ రిజర్వేషన్స్ కొన్ని కాలం ఉండాలి, ఆర్ వెల్ఫేర్ స్కీమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇవన్నీ ఎందుకు? బికాజ్ హిస్టారికల్లీ వీ అండర్స్టూడ్ హౌ దిస్ పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ బీన్ సబ్జెక్టెడ్ టు లాట్ ఆఫ్ సఫరింగ్. నా ఉమెన్స్ ఇమాన్సిపేషన్ చూడండి. ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ నో హిస్టరీ, women will continue to live in the same kind of traditions. So because we know that there has been injustice has been done, we need to correct it. So history, study of history is very important to make the course of society healthy and progressive. And we learn from the mistakes. Now for example, COVID pandemic, now it is history. You don't know how COVID was dealt. One more pandemic వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, you will be totally clueless how to deal with. 1920లో we have the flu, global flu. అప్పుడు ఎలా I will tell you one more example. 2007-8 global financial crisis వచ్చింది. How it was dealt, that is being followed now to stop the recession which is coming again. So history is not something remote. Whatever has happened, that is history, right? So that will help us to correct our way of dealing with the things or whatever, policies. Now see Telangana creation, you see. Telangana demand has been there. It was denied. Many people died for many times. What KCR did is nothing. He simply did what is the movement and methodology that were followed in from 1969 onwards, and he did it again. Telangana was achieved. So history is very, very important to have a healthy course of society and to correct our mistakes from time to time. Even in life, friends, we learn from our mistakes. Yes or no? You try something, you fail, then you change it. That failing part is history in your own life. So you apply it to a greater level. That is the answer. And one more thing, as far as UPSC is concerned, general answer is fine, but as far as UPSC is concerned, if you love IAS, you have to love all subjects, love history more, you get a rank. అడుగుతారు దెన్ యూ కెన్ సే దిస్. యూ లేటెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, కోవిడ్ ఇటువంటి ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఇవ్వచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు కమ్యూనలిజం ఉంది, ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? కమ్యూనల్ క్లాషెస్, పార్టిషన్, ఏ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఇష్యూస్. నౌ వాట్ ఈస్ డివైడింగ్ ఇండియన్ సొసైటీ? ద కమ్యూనల్ ఐడియాలజీ ఆర్ కమ్యూనల్ ప్రోపగాండా. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ దట్ స్టార్టెడ్ నౌ, ఇట్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఎర్లియర్ ఆల్సో. సో ఎర్లియర్ వీ హ్యాడ్ ఫేస్డ్ ద లాస్, నౌ లెట్ us ప్రివెంట్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ డివిజివ్ టెండెన్సీస్. అలా ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్తో ఆన్సర్ చేస్తే అయిపోతుంది. Any other points, or you are hungry for lunch? కామెంట్స్ చేసేవాళ్ళు అన్నిటి మీద చేస్తారండి, కామెంట్స్ అని కాదు. సో ఇట్స్ నథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. అండ్ సి యు ఆర్ ఎయిమింగ్ ఫర్ ఎ వెరీ బిగ్ ఎగ్జామ్, యూ విల్ బి వన్ ఆఫ్ ద టాప్ పాలసీ మేకర్స్. సో యూ నీడ్ నాట్ వర్రీ అబౌట్ ఆల్ ది. మన యూటిలిటీ ఏమిటి? ఇంకోటి, హిస్టరీ గురించి కామెంట్స్ అవన్నీ మన పర్సనల్ సబ్జెక్ట్ కాదు కదా. యు ఆర్ జస్ట్ టేకింగ్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఏ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ టు గెట్ ఎ ర్యాంక్. హిస్టరీకి మనం అటాచ్ అయిపోక్కర్లేదు. ఇట్ ఈస్ జస్ట్ విత్ ఎ డిటాచ్మెంట్, ఎనీ సబ్జెక్ట్ ఫర్ దట్ మ్యాటర్. ఇప్పుడు మీరు పిహెచ్డీ ఏం చేయట్లే కదా హిస్టరీలో. ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ డూయింగ్ పిహెచ్డీ దెన్ యూ థింక్ హిస్టరీలో చేయాలా, హిస్టరీ ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నా, అది చేయొచ్చు కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మనకి హిస్టరీ ఈజ్ ఏ మీన్స్ టు ఎన్ ఎండ్, లైక్ ఎనీ సబ్జెక్ట్, అంతే. ఆప్షన్ తీసుకోపోయినా హిస్టరీ చదవాలి కదా మీరు, యాజ్ సింపుల్ యాజ్ దట్. ఓకే, సో గుడ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, ఆల్ ద బెస్ట్, విల్ క్యాచ్ అప్.